What's up, guys? How we doing? So we are live Wednesday, the 13th December, 10 a.m. and we are discussing shared ownership. Let me get everything ready. Let's get the live chat going. Let's get that down here. Okay. Any questions, just let me know along the way. Right, there we go. There's the live chat. Okay. Perfect. No viewers at the moment. We've got to get Instagram live as well. Okay. And then let's go back to here we go. Right, screen capture. Okay, we want screen 1. There we go. Right, okay. So just double check that we're all good on YouTube and that we are in fact live. Let's go to my channel because there we go. Okay, it definitely looks like we're live. Good stuff. Cool. So I'm just going to wait for... We have one viewer. Fantastic. Okay, we've got a double screen here, which is a bit strange. There we go. Right, that's what I wanted there. And then we can just flick to the screen. Perfect. Right, we're all set up. And let's go live on Instagram. 3, 2, 1. And we are live on YouTube and Instagram over here. And we're discussing shared ownership. Why are we discussing shared ownership? Because I've been asked a lot in regards to shared ownership. And is it worth it? You know, it's a question I get asked a lot. It's not everyone's cup of tea, a bit like Marmite. Hello to everyone on Instagram there. Give you a little wave. And YouTube here. So, shared ownership's the topic. So, what is shared ownership, first of all? And why do people use it? Hello. Good morning to you. I won't try and pronounce that username. Eusatagus, something like that. Okay, so shared ownership is when you buy the share of a property. So let's say a property is 300,000, okay, and you buy 25%, which is £75,000. Okay, the rest of the property, the 75%, is owned by a housing association, and you pay the housing association a rent. Okay, now the way to work out that rent is you would just go 300,000. Let's say the full price of the property is 300,000, and you're buying 25%. So 75% you pay rent on, which is 225,000, and you times that by 2.75% divided by 12 equals £515. So 500-ish pounds per month you're going to pay in rent on a property worth around 300,000 in total. Now, for me, if you don't have any options, if you can't buy a property outright initially, like a resale home, maybe affordability doesn't stretch at the moment, maybe you're due some pay rises in the future, then I think shared ownership's a fantastic stepping stone onto the property ladder. You're going to get a mortgage history, you're going to pay mortgage payments, you're going to pay off some of the mortgage, and it's going to help the next purchase be a lot easier. And you can even have a portable mortgage, so a year into owning a shared ownership property, if your circumstances changed, you could sell it and then upgrade. Now, we're going to have a look at sort of some mortgage rates for shared ownership, see what the monthly payments are, see what the rates are doing, things like that, as well. And also, I wanted to cover off, what sort of other circumstances you may buy a shared ownership property as well. I certainly think the number one reason is, affordability. If you can't quite reach, the property you want buying outright, buying a resale home, then it's going to enable you to buy a bigger property via shared ownership, because with the combination of the mortgage payment and the rent, the overall cost to buy the equivalent property exactly the same will be lower. That's why the affordability stretches further in regards to shared ownership. And the market has really improved as well. Housing associations have really improved as well in regards to costs and things like that. The government is reforming shared ownership as well, so it's certainly well worth it for sure. So let's jump onto the computer here and have a look at some monthly payments. If anyone's got any questions at all to do with shared ownership, just let me know, okay? And I will answer those. And if anyone can just let me know that the sound and everything like that's okay, that would be great. It's always good to know that. Okay, there we go. Just checking that the chat bar is all okay there. Okay, so let's have a look at buying a property at 300,000. Okay, the share is going to be 25%. That's a 75,000. Also, another benefit, which I've just thought of, is you only need to put down 5% of the share that you are buying. Okay, so 75,000 times 5% is 3,750 as a deposit. Okay, so let's go for a loan amount of times 25% of 300,000 times 95%, so 71,250. Okay, and we are looking at a mortgage over 30 years, and I'm going to look at a 5-year fixed because it's the most common at the moment, and they are the lowest rates, represent the lowest rates on the market. So what have we got here? We've got a 5-year fixed rate at 5.64%. Okay, £416.59 per month, 5.64%. The APR 7.5%. All right. Arrangement fee of £999 with a free valuation. So the rent we said was around, so let's go 300,000 times 75% times 2.75% divided by 12, 515. Add the monthly payment of 416. So to purchase a property on shared ownership around the £300,000 mark with a 5% deposit to purchase a 25% share, you're looking at around £930 a month Okay, that's 416 on the mortgage, the rest on the rent. And then you may have some service charges on top of that. So you could say around about £1,000, okay, to purchase a property at 300,000. Okay, so just have a look at the live chat here. Sounds all good. Me and my missus just have a mortgage going through now together for 150k. Congratulations with that, Bradley, or good luck with that. Have you had the mortgage offer yet, or is that still going through at the moment? Super T, appreciate this vid. No worries at all. You know, it has been requested a lot, so it needed to be done. Okay. So any questions, just let me know. Yes, had the mortgage offer, Bradley. Brilliant news. Fantastic. Great stuff. So when do you think you'll be moving in there? Any time soon? Have you exchanged or anything like that? Had the mortgage offer. Is there anything we should be aware of? Okay, so moving at the end of December. Okay, exciting stuff. I would say that you might need to sign your mortgage offer, so double check that. Your mortgage offer will also come with a mortgage deed, okay, which you need to get witnessed by 2 people that have known you for at least a couple of years and that are non-family members. That can be tricky, signing the mortgage deed, because it is quite a complicated document. Where do you sign? All that sort of stuff. So, have you signed the deed yet? Also, if you've got your mortgage offer, you should have all your searches back. Hopefully all of that is sorted. And it's just a case of, yes, sign the deed. Okay, great stuff. So it's just a case of your solicitor lining you up for exchange and completion. Search is all done. Have you paid the deposit? I imagine you have probably paid the deposit. To me, it's sounding like you're very close to exchange and completion. Normally what happens is between exchange and completion, you would have about a week, okay, before you move in. So you exchange and then a week later you move in, because the money takes, you know, a little while to go through, that sort of stuff. The solicitor has to submit what's known as a certificate of title in order to request that money. Sent the deposit. Yeah, okay. So I would try and get an exchange and completion on the same day, so you don't have that week between exchange and completion. If it makes any difference to you, it might not. But to me, that sounds like everything's ready to go, and you'll be moving in within the very near future to your new property. So congratulations with that one. So before we wrap this up, just wanted to, you know, jump on, have a chat about shared ownership, give some pros and cons, give you an idea of monthly payments. Do you work with shared ownership through the process? Do you work with shared ownership through the process? Yes. So, or is it just full mortgages? Oh no, of course. So shared ownership, it goes a little bit under the radar, but it, you know, we help many first-time buyers through the shared ownership process. Our process is, we would obviously onboard you, look at all your documents, help you find, you know, properties. While you're searching for properties, we would have already got your agreement in principle. All my clients send me links to properties they're looking at, so I can check it out, check the lease, make sure the housing association's okay, make sure the service charges and any other associated costs, ground rent is all okay, and that the mortgage lender's going to be happy with that, because sometimes there are ground rents or service charges which are going to increase every so many years. Mortgage lenders don't like that. Okay, so once we've overcome that hurdle, you know, all the documents go in, we then look at getting the mortgage offer. We obviously pair you with the best shared ownership provider, reflecting your circumstances. We also work with some specialist providers, so if you've had missed payments or a default or a CCJ, we can still help with shared ownership mortgages. We work with all of the providers out there. So hope that answers that question for you, Super T. Bradley, can't wait. You have a little one born in January as well. Appreciate all the videos, no problem. So, wow, moving in and a little one due. That is absolutely fantastic. Exciting times there. Times certainly fly when you have children. Is that your first one? My daughter will be 19 in February, and only seems yesterday she was here, Katie. So your first one, Bradley. Okay, well, you've got some fantastic times ahead of you there. Absolutely amazing times. Certainly, you know, they go quick, so make sure you take in every minute and do your very best to be around, because you've got some exciting times ahead for sure. Absolutely. Okay, my plan is to be ready by April, May. I've not joined your website yet, but we'll definitely do. Yeah, we've got, funny enough, I'm working on a course at the moment, Shared Ownership Secrets. So, if you want us to help you, or the course will probably be ready early next year as well. That will help you through the shared ownership process, point you the right way, show you all the lenders and things like that. We're literally working on courses to help anyone in every scenario. Non-UK nationals, that's one we're doing at the moment as well. How much would the course be? For shared ownership, the shared ownership one is it's a mini course, so it's probably going to be £49, something like that, but will be added on to the overall premium package, which has every one of our courses, which at the moment is £199, and you get everything, and all future courses. But you can just go to firsttimebuyerexpert.co.uk for that. That's got the main premium course there, and eventually, when all the courses are done at some point next year, literally everything, it will be Mortgage Secrets. That's the whole banner. Everything will come on, but we will be sure to let everyone know. So, any further questions there before we wrap this up? Anyone on Instagram have any questions at all before we go? Just having a little scroll there. Does it get easier after buying your second house? I would say it gets easier after buying your first home. So I think that's what you mean, because it will be your second house, to get mortgages. I would say yes, because your first transaction is always difficult, because there's excitement, but there's anxiety, isn't there? Will you get the mortgage? Won't you get the mortgage? You're spending this money out, you might have to move, everything like this, it's all going off. So it's mentally very challenging. But the second one, you're going to be more relaxed for starters, because you've already got your property, so that box has been ticked. But in terms of the mortgage lenders, they're already going to see you have a mortgage and a mortgage history, so you're going to be a home mover. And especially if you've got a history of paying the mortgage, then yes, the next time is going to be that little bit easier, both for the mortgage and in regards to the mental side. It's not going to be, you're going to be a bit more relaxed. You're not going to have to prove your deposit all over again and all those bank statements and everything like that, because the deposit is likely going to come from the sale of your property. So that's going to be, it's going to be a little bit easier for you as well. Is it better to get a shared ownership mortgage rather than a repayment mortgage, or vice versa? So a repayment mortgage, you can still have a shared ownership mortgage and a repayment mortgage at the same time, or a normal mortgage and a repayment mortgage. No worries, Bradley. But I think what you mean is, maybe, is it better to get a shared ownership mortgage rather than a normal mortgage, buying I call it normal mortgage, buying a resale home? I would say you could mean one of two things, so I'll cover both off. So shared ownership versus buying outright, buying a resale home, just buying the property, normal transaction, traditional transaction. I would say always try and buy a property outright as the first port of call. But if that's not possible, through either affordability, maybe you're in a job where the wages are going to go up in the future, maybe you've got adverse credit. If shared ownership's the only option, I would always take that over renting, because with rent, you're paying 100% rent. With shared ownership, you're paying 75% rent, maybe 60%, and you have a mortgage and you're paying the mortgage off. You're building up a history. It's going to make the next move a lot easier. So that's how I would look at that, David. But in regards to the repayment side, when you buy a property to live in, most lenders now will stipulate you must have a repayment mortgage. A repayment mortgage is a capital and interest mortgage. So when you pay the mortgage each month, that monthly payment goes on to both the capital and the interest of your mortgage. So therefore your mortgage reduces. So if you have a 30-year repayment mortgage, after 30 years your mortgage will be paid off. It guarantees to pay every penny of that mortgage off, as opposed to interest only, where you're just paying the interest. However, in this day and age, it's going to be very unlikely you can get an interest only mortgage as a first time buyer. You need huge deposits. I would never recommend going down the interest only route, because you could do a 30-year mortgage, have interest only, maybe you've got some intentions to switch it over to repayment and you never do that, and then you're going to be left with going into retirement around there with a mortgage balance which hasn't reduced at all. So I hope that one covers that one for you, David, in regards to that. Okay. And just generally speaking about mortgages and things like that, yeah, no worries, David. Hope that made sense. Let's have a look at the sort of the process a little bit more. Maybe you're thinking of buying a property in 2024. Let's have a chat about that and the market next year. So the way I see the market going is, at the moment, my feeling is that property prices will come down even more next year. Don't worry if you've just bought a property. It might go down in value next year. It likely will. But over medium to long term, properties will always come back. They'll always deliver. Historically, based on factual data, properties always increase in value over time. Okay. But I do think the market is going to come down further next year, and I think maybe 2025 will reach the market will bottom out. So that means we'll reach the end of the decline in house prices. I think rates next year will probably creep down a little bit more, and inflation, we're about 4.5%, something like that at the moment, maybe a bit lower. and we need to be at 2%. So I think that's going to take another year or so. And then I think rates will come down a little bit more. I don't think we're going to reach the 2s and 3s, but, you know, to sit 3.5%, something like that, I think that would be great for everyone. Property prices, you know, we've seen some huge reductions since the start of the year. You know, there's 30-40% I'm seeing properties that have reduced based on the price they were at the start of the year, and I think that will carry on going down. I think we've got another 10% in values to drop, at least, maybe a bit more, around that sort of figure. I think in October we saw mortgage approvals were at an all-time low, about 45,000, something like that, compared to, you know, over double compared to, you know, this time the previous year. And we saw house prices were coming on too high. You know, sellers were putting their property on for too much, basically, compared to what the value where the market was at that time. However, November statistics saw a big shift in mentality. Sellers were now, okay, you know, we need to put our properties on for the market value. Otherwise, you're going to put it on too high. It's not going to sell. And then when you do eventually reduce the price in line with the market, if you would have just done that at the start, you would have got a bit more, because you've now reduced it later on and the properties have come down even more compared to when the property first came on the market. So that's good news. I think there's definitely, if you're thinking of buying next year, it's a good time, because you've had a big reduction in property prices combined with rates now, you know, touching 4% sometimes. We're around that sort of figure, where 3 months ago that was what, 5.5, even more, with big deposits there. So overall, I think the market's okay. I think 2025 will probably be, you know, if you're waiting, I'm never a fan of waiting because things can always change. Market's very unpredictable. Then 2025, I think, is going to be where the reductions and rates will be at their lowest. Excuse me. Okay, so going to wrap up now. Thanks everyone who's watched. Only thing that's stopping us buying now is my wife isn't ready to go back to work. That's what we're waiting for. Yeah, well, that's you know, a legitimate reason. You're going to need that income. Makes complete sense, David. So, you know, good luck to you. And we'll be doing these lives every Wednesday at 10 a.m. moving forwards, and still with the video out on the Thursday. Okay, so that is going to be the platform now moving forwards, just to try and discuss different things and trying to bring up subjects which don't get discussed as much, like shared ownership. And anyone who wants a chat early next year, you know, the link, as always, is in the description below to have a free chat, you know, or in my bio if you're in Instagram, just to discuss your options, talk about how we can help you, and, you know, if not, how our mentorship programs can as well. You guys have a great Christmas as well. Thanks for that, David. Okay, and I will see everyone soon.